Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Jessica Carvad and I am a subconscious business coach and a wealth activator, especially for women, but I really work with everyone. But a lot of my content is going to be directed towards women, as I also work with the menstrual cycle, hormonal health, and helping women really understand their bodies. Now, this video is going to be for you if you feel like you've been trying to manifest either something particular, or you've been really trying to change your life, you've been doing all the work, but nothing is really shifting, or maybe there are subtle shifts, but not as big as you'd like, or maybe there's a specific outcome you've been working towards and it's just not been happening. Or also you feel like what you want, you're not getting. I'm recording this video from two different lenses. First of all, from the lens of looking at other people and analyzing what is different about someone who gets it all, whereas also looking at my inside world. So every time I am creating content like this, I look at my inside world, I look at the things I have been through, and I also look at the outside world. And I try to find a sweet balance between really understanding what has been going on within me, what are the things I have shifted, but also what are the things I see outside of myself that other people are doing. I don't know about you, but for many years in my life, I would look at other people and there would be a feeling of, I don't even want to say jealousy, but more of trying to understand, why do some people really get it all? Why does it look like they're getting it all? And that's an important aspect, right? Why does it look like they're getting it all? And what is it within me that is either creating or not creating the thing that I want? Now, what's really important is that, of course, when we only look at the outside, we're also forgetting that a lot of these people who might get it all now or achieve it all have not always achieved it all. They've been through situations where they have given their all and they did not get the outcomes that they wanted. And truly, every big person you can think about, if famous or not, they have had many experiences where they did not get what they wanted. But what mattered is, what did they do afterwards when they did not get what they wanted? Did they give up or did they keep going? What was the mindset behind keeping going? And it's going to be a combination between manifestation, but also just between being a human being and having a certain mindset that is going to really help you achieve your goals. So if you have not been getting what it is that you want, I want to speak to you about the difference between the conscious want and the subconscious fear, or also the conscious desire and the subconscious resistance. This is something that I was really battling with myself. I remember years ago when I was really struggling with my business or certain goals that I had in life, I would say to my partner, I would be like, but I want this so much and I don't understand why it's not here. I want this with all of my heart and all of my body, and I'm working hard and it is still not here. And I wouldn't understand why it wouldn't be, because I learned early on, if you want something so much, it's gonna happen. And to a certain extent, it is true, but the bigger picture is that you can overcome that resistance of it not happening when we look at our subconscious mind. So when I was asking myself, well, I want this so much. Let's say I wanted $10,000 a month in my business. It's like, I want this so much. Why isn't it happening? Despite me working hard, despite me doing all the work, doing all the right things, I had to look at, okay, if I know that my inner world is creating my outer world, my subconscious mind is creating something that obviously I have to look at first. Because just because you want something doesn't mean you're actually fully ready to receive that thing. So for example, if in the past I have learned from my parents that when they work hard and make a lot of money, they're less available to play with me or be around me as a child, they are fighting more about money, actually money is stressing them out more. This is a program that I have learned. This is a worldview I have learned early on as a child that I have taken on, believing that actually a lot of money leads to stress, leads to these problems, leads to less time with family. And so even though as a 30-year-old, 40-year-old woman, I'm like, well, but I want this certain result so much, but my subconscious mind is resisting that because of what I learned, I can want something so much, my subconscious mind is literally going to block me from getting the thing that I actually want on a conscious level. And so you can go deeper, because it might be a belief that you have that if you succeed, you will be alone. Because again, you might have seen it in your past experiences with your parents, with anyone else in your family. Maybe you're scared of visibility because you say that if you're gonna be visible, you will be judged. So these programs run really underneath it all. And this is what really clicked for me, because a lot of the manifestation work that I have done previously, and I've been in the manifestation world since I want to say I was like 20 years old, probably before, but it didn't really make a lot of sense when I was younger. So it took me a little bit of time to really understand manifestation. But still, a lot of the manifestation that I came across on different platforms was very surface level. It didn't allow me to actually go deeper into understanding that, yes, I knew my inner world creates my outer world, but I didn't understand these programs that were actually running in my life and were creating the results that I did not want. So I had to go a layer deeper and ask myself, what is it that is actually creating this right now? What a belief within me is creating this unwanted result, even though I want it so much? In order for you to understand what that subconscious resistance or fear might be for you, you have to ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen if I achieve this thing, or if I get this thing, or if I achieve this goal? This is where your subconscious fear is going to crystallize itself out. And this is the thing you got to work with at the end, because it never got into my mind how hard work was not enough until I hit that block over and over and over again. And I would work harder and still not see the results that someone else who was working 5 hours a week. And I was like, I just don't understand why I am burning out while this other person is working so little hours and making so much more money. Keep in mind that this is not necessarily sabotage, it's self-protection. And when I understood that my mind, my body, my nervous system are always there to protect me, it made my life so much easier, because then I wouldn't judge myself anymore. I would just be aware of like, oh, okay, it's protecting me. This is self-protection. This is just wanting me to stay in a program that I've learned is safe, right? I've learned this either early on or later on. I was like, this is what I learned is safe, so let me stay within this program rather than stepping outside of it, because stepping outside of it means I am in a zone that is not safe, and I don't know what will happen here, because we only know what's going to happen on this other side. Now, the second reason why you might not be getting what it is that you want is because your body doesn't actually feel safe receiving that very thing yet. I had a dream, and I still have that dream, but I want to say like 5 to 7 years ago, I had this very particular dream about this person that is very famous, that I wanted to meet, and I wanted to really have a conversation with them. And I would pursue this dream for many, many years in my life, and it would never really happen in the way that I wanted it. I would meet this person and I would talk to them, but it wouldn't be in the way that I actually wanted it to be. And then I would ask myself, well, if it actually would happen today, Jess, like, what would you tell them? Do you feel like you are experienced enough yet? Or do you feel like you're actually ready to have this conversation that you imagine having? And back then, the answer was no. I was like, I still haven't built my business back then to the way that I want it to be. I still feel like there's so many more lessons I have to learn, or so many more things I want to be able to talk to this person about. And at that time, I wasn't yet ready to do that. And so the reason why it didn't happen back then is because I actually wasn't ready yet. And so today I am. And I know that if I were to sit down with this person at a table, I would be ready to have this conversation. Whereas back then I wouldn't have been. The reason why we're not getting what it is that we want is because our body actually doesn't feel safe yet having that. Now, to take it a step further, this is very much connected with your nervous system, because your nervous system, going back to what I said initially, is always going to protect you. And it doesn't matter what you have on your vision board or what you're putting out there. If your body doesn't feel regulated in working towards this goal and doesn't feel safe in becoming the person that you need to be and getting what it is that you desire, you are going to limit yourself from the things that you can achieve And you gotta delimit yourself and also the way that you show up, the things that you say, the work that you do, how powerful your work is. And it really got to me, when I was looking at other coaches in the beginning of my career. And there were coaches with the same experience as I was that had this huge blow up. And I would be like, I don't understand. Like, why are they growing so quickly and why does it take longer for me? Until I realized my body didn't feel safe to be seen by more people yet, to have more clients yet. I needed more experience. I needed more regulation. I needed to feel safe within myself first so I could actually achieve all of these things, right? And it's the same with any other thing that you're desiring. Your body will always think of protection first rather than you actually achieving this goal. It doesn't matter what your vision is if your body's like not feeling safe yet. So think of it this way. Your nervous system has a certain capacity within itself. And if the thing that you desire exceeds that certain capacity, your nervous system is gonna be like, oh no, like it's gonna either freeze, fawn, flee, or fight. And so the way that it can show up is, for example, you have a massive leap in your business and you all of a sudden get sick. Or you might have the money come in and you spend it then all in a week. You might meet the right person that you've been looking for and then you find yourself pulling away. So it's very interesting to see how the nervous system actually really reacts. And it's in those small subtle things that, yes, we can call this sabotage if you want to, but I call it self-protection. And your nervous system is always gonna show you. Even intense fatigue and tiredness is a sign of your nervous system being over capacity. For example, if all of a sudden you gain 1,000 followers and then you get very tired. It could be like, wow, like we're being seen by 1,000 more people and my nervous system does not feel regulated yet to be seen by 1,000 more people, as an example. Now, the next point is something that I really had to understand. I've been through a huge transition in my business from being a vegan health coach to doing what I do now for the very reason that I always found myself a lot more complex. And the work that I was teaching within my clients has been very complex, has been very broad, has been very deep. Not broad, but deep. Like a lot of the things that I would always educate myself and bring all this work into my containers with my clients. And at a certain point, I found myself trying to chase something that I wasn't achieving because actually the very thing that I needed to do was slow down. So a lot of the times when we're moving very quickly in life and we want another thing and another thing and another goal and another goal, I feel like if you're watching this video, you are probably this type of person. Otherwise you wouldn't be watching this video if you're not here to achieve big goals and you have, big things that you want to really create. But sometimes when you're not getting the thing that we want, it's just a sign that we need more integration. We need more time to be with ourselves. And so I share this process of shifting from one business to another business is because I tried to minimize that gap as much as possible and just jump straight into it until I realized why it wasn't working is because I needed time to integrate all of the stuff that I learned. And I needed to take my time to really understand what this new journey was going to look like for me. And the reason why the results that I wanted weren't happening yet is because I truly needed to honor this time of integration. And at the same time, I actually needed to grieve the fact that I was giving up on a business that I built for a very long time, that has transformed lots of women's lives, and that took me a lot of money, time, energy to build, and I was letting this part of me go. And instead of jumping into the next thing, I actually needed to honor that grief. And that is my invitation for you too. I know you're here because you want big things and you want to achieve your next dream or goal. But maybe right now, all you need to do is actually hold that space for you to let go of what you no longer want or what you're letting go. Because you know that that next version of you requires you to be someone else. And because it requires you to be someone else, there are parts of you that no longer belong into this new version that you're creating. And so honoring this alone takes time. And the reason why you might not yet get that next thing is because you actually right now need that time to slow down and integrate into grief. Now, the next point is something I really struggled with, but I do think it will give the right people some value, which is, and this can sound a little bit like spiritual bypassing, but I don't want it to sound like that. It's more of giving yourself this new belief that something better might actually be happening in the background. And I know it doesn't, in that moment, to me, it's the worst advice, because I'm like, no, but I want that. Like, don't tell me something better is coming. I want that. But allowing that belief to come in gives this whole situation less pressure and less it needs to happen right now. And also asking yourself, like, what is the gift right now in me waiting for this? What is the wisdom for me that wants to come through right now? Or maybe even what am I being prepared for? So kind of going back to the story that I told you of wanting to meet this person in a certain way, I know why it wasn't happening, or why it wasn't happening in the way that I wanted to, is because I wasn't yet prepared to actually have this conversation the way that I wanted to. With these 4 points, I really want you to take that time to reflect. But on top of that, the question that I want you to ask yourself, whenever the thing that you want is not happening right in front of your face, what is your thought in that moment? Because that is the thing that you ultimately have to work with. Is your thought more on the positive side or more on the negative side? And what is that thought saying about you and your belief system? Because that thought alone, when you practice to change it, when you practice to transform it into something more powerful, more meaningful, more useful, this is what will define the difference between people who actually get what they want every single time and who don't. Because the people who get what they want every single time is not because they get it the first time. It's because what they do, who they are when they don't get it, how they shift, how they look at themselves, how they reprogram their mind, how they take responsibility for these things, how they believe that they're a co-creator with the universe and that sometimes something better is waiting for them too. They create that safety to actually recalibrate themselves to that new level that they desire to be, to have, to create this new thing. So really my invitation here for you is to take that time to go deeper and to really notice what is your mind telling you about yourself when something is not happening, and how can you shift that within yourself and notice once you shift, how does life look differently? Do you trust yourself more again? Do you trust the universe more? Do you trust that the very thing that you want is going to happen? But it's only going to happen when you go within. I really hope this was helpful for you. It has given you some things to think about. Let me know down below. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you for being here. Sending you so much love, and until the next time, bye-bye.